What's going on, everybody? Dr. Chris Featherstone here for yet another episode of UnSKripted with my friend, the legendary Bill Apter.
Yes, thank you. So let me put on my special July 4th hat here.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Stop spreading the news.
My top hat. No, we'll go back. We'll go back to the baseball cap.
Very nice. Very nice.
Looks better. We can do them both.
No. Sure, man. Hey,
that won't work.
Be the trendsetter.
That won't work.
It is here in the States. It is the Independence Day here, and we still got a large crowd here, even with the Independence Day.
Actually, it's Independence Night.
It is Independence Night. It is. We're both Eastern time, so it's literally 56 more minutes left in the holiday. This is 2 days after my birthday.
Happy birthday to you, by the way.
Thank you very much, man. I appreciate that very much. My
birthday.
Thank you, man. My birthday is one of my favorite days of the year. Like, no lie, I love celebrating my birthdays. I'm grateful for every day on this side of the ground, and I'm a super grateful guy, and just really love life, man. Just really love life.
I can tell, and I saw all the Facebook messages. You have a lot of followers.
I do, man. I am. I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful to be an impact in many people's lives, and it's really cool. It's a really cool thing to do.
I'm one of them.
Yeah, man.
I impacted my life.
Thank you, man.
You drafted me.
I did, and this was by far the best decision that I could have made for UnSKripted, man, because I legit love hanging out with you on Tuesday nights.
Likewise. So guess what?
What's up?
I got a book in the mail, a pre-copy before it's released, and I'm only 60 pages in. Okay. And I saw one of the authors the other day at the Icons of Wrestling convention. Mm-hmm. And thank you, all you fans who were there and came over to me and said hi. This is Todd is God.
Todd Gordon.
My buddy Sean Oliver, who's an author and a playwright and everything, and he used to he brought me onto Ring Roasts, which was, we did roasts of several wrestlers, which went right, unfortunately, into the toilet because the wrestling fans didn't get what a roast is, and they thought it was a tribute, and they booed the heck out of it.
Oh, wow. Huh.
But anyway, this is Todd Gordon, and he was at Icons the other day, and he signed the book for me. But there's so much that I'm reading in this book that is so interesting about the formative days of ECW. And I did an interview with Sandman this past Saturday. And one of the things I mentioned to him and to Todd was ECW didn't just change the business, it totally changed the way fans react to the matches. Nobody, before ECW fans, nobody ever yelled out, "You effed up." Nobody yelled, "You screwed up. You did this, you did that." It was nobody. It changed the fan completely, and it made it a whole different business going forward.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I it really revolutionized the business. I would say not all good though.
No,
Not all good as far as just this bloodthirsty, type of guttural, visceral, type of fan base that we've created. But at the same time, ECW was just it was just a really eccentric, rare type of breed. And
yeah.
I remember watching ECW back in the day, and it was just like I think it came on like 2 a.m. here in Ohio, and yeah, I stayed up and watched it a lot of times. Man,
I
it
was
was
there. I was
yeah,
there shooting pictures
very
of a
nice.
lot of times, and it was what dangerous every time I would shoot there, or our photographer Jason Lavin was there.
Hmm,
It was really dangerous, but it took like the best of like Texas wrestling and Japan and just mixed everything up into blood and gore, and
yep,
some matches that were just good. But like just the origins of that company and the way it happened from when Joel Goodhart had it as Eastern Championship Wrestling originally. I just want to, it's coming out, I think, July 15th or 16th, but 55, 60 pages into this thing, I'm like, this is great. I don't like to read wrestling books because everybody knocks each other. He had just met Paul Heyman. Uh, that's where I'm up to right now. And
mm,
I can't wait to see how that got started and then how it collapsed toward the end.
nice. Speaking of Terry Funk, did I just see that he did the forward?
Yes, he did. He did. He
Nice.
forward by Terry Funk, the man who just celebrated another birthday. Do you want to make something of it, Chris Featherstone?
Very nice Terry Funk
Oh,
impersonation.
I do hundreds of them. He hates when I do that one.
He
I
does.
talked to yeah, no, he's okay. He says, Apter, that's not what I sound like. I talked to him a few months ago,
Yeah,
and he was much better. His mind was quite a bit sharper, and I miss him. I miss him.
mm,
He was always a fixture in all the territories I went to, and a personal friend.
very nice, very nice. All right, so of course, as you all know, this is unscripted. So I have the questions ready for us. If you want to be highlighted on the screen and a guaranteed question answered, go ahead and hit that super chat and we will do so. Otherwise, we'll just peek over and see what we get.
Quick question for you though, before we go there.
Yeah.
What was your ECW? What was your best match time? What did you like about ECW?
That's when I started to like, that's when I first started to see Chris Jericho. And I actually
Oh, right.
like the technical wrestling of ECW, the Chris Jericho, Dean Malenko, Chris Benoit,
Yeah, yeah.
and
Perry Saturn
Perry
was in that
Saturn
group
was
too.
there. Well,
Eddie Guerrero.
he was well, the Perry Saturn was with John Cronus. He was the Eliminator.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
Uh,
and I always liked their high-low finisher, total elimination. With Joey Styles. And
oh my God.
oh my god,
All right,
that was
right.
really cool. And just I remember following Shane Douglas when he was with the Dynamic Dudes with Ace,
Yeah.
Johnny Ace, and it was just a really different vibe with Shane Douglas. It was a whole different thing. Like as far as when I was following him back in WCW, and then going over to this franchise gimmick, just throwing the NWA belt in trash, and Sabu and
Oh
as
yeah.
Sabu rivalry probably. I think the two ones that stand out to me rivalry rivalry wise was Taz and Sabu, and then
Fabulous.
Tommy Dreamer and Raven.
One of the best pictures, people always ask me, what is the picture that I took that I always say, this is awesome? Mm-hmm. That is when Taz suplexed Sabu at one of the pay-per-views, and I was standing right in front of them. So I got him slinging him back on his back, and it just, yeah. But then, when WCW brought in some of the ECW guys, it was it wasn't good.
Yeah.
It wasn't good.
Were you there? Were you there for the mass transit incident?
No, I was not.
Okay. Yeah. What do you think? What do you think about that?
It shouldn't have happened.
Yeah. So he lied. He lied about his age, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It shouldn't have happened, but things slip under the radar.
Yeah.
Every business, and it sure did it there.
Yeah, I mean, that happens a lot as far as people lying about especially back then. I mean, not so much now, but back then. I mean,
a lot of people may not. There may be some fans watching us who don't know what that is. Why don't you clue them in real quickly?
Yeah, so this younger guy who really wanted to be a part of the business, he basically had an opportunity. He wanted to, basically get himself over and expose himself to the business. Basically, he was a really huge dude, but he was underage though. And he basically had a gimmick called mass transit. He was dressed in like a bus driver outfit, and unfortunately, he had a who was it New Jack that bladed him really bad?
I think it was. I remember the incident, but I think it was.
Yeah, it was somebody who from ECW bladed him, but really, it was either New Jack or maybe Devon Dudley. It was one.
No, it wasn't Devon Dudley. I'm pretty sure it was New Jack.
New Jack. It was one. I think he was teaming, or he went against one of the Dudleys, or the Dudleys. But if I'm not mistaken, it was New Jack that bladed him. It was New Jack bladed him really, really bad.
Yes,
a big old gash in his head, and he started just going. He ended up recovering from that, but I think he passed a few years later.
Yeah, I heard the same thing. And things do slip under the radar, and unfortunately, that did that night.
Yeah,
but that's not the legacy of ECW.
Indeed. I mean, in a way, it is, because just of the, just
in your mind,
yeah. Very unpredictable, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, yes. So people are in the chat are saying it is New Jack. I thought it was New Jack. For some odd reason, was he teaming with the Dudleys, or did he team?
I don't remember the entire. We'd have to.
You have to.
Google it,
I'm surprised that. But New Jack had a Dark Side episode, and I think they talked about mass transit on that. But I think they should have its own episode of for mass transit.
Yeah, that would draw. And New Jack became a very good friend of mine. He always told me, he called me Wee Willie. Go, Wee Willie, you ever need somebody, to get a job done on them? You just call me.
There you go.
He was great. He and I became really good friends. As dangerous as the man was in real life, I mean, he was one of the sweetest people I ever met, and very funny.
Okay, so here's the deal. Yeah. You know how I am about the trivia. Okay.
Yes.
So November 23rd, 1996. In Revere, Massachusetts, there was a show that the Gangstas defeated Devon Dudley in mass transit.
Okay,
there you go. So
it was for you got it. Yeah, I didn't remember the Dudleys were involved with that.
Yeah. So I knew that it was something related to Devon Dudley. So
okay, well, I'm glad you remembered that, because I have so much in here from so many companies.
Oh yeah, I imagine you do. I like. I'm a big Jeopardy fan. I love trivia. I'm a trivia.
Oh, me too.
Yeah. So
you should have given that in a question form.
Yes. What is who is Devon Dudley?
So now you don't get the money.
Oh man, I should have done it in question.
Okay, before we go to the fans,
Yep.
WWE Most Wanted Treasures.
Mm-hmm.
My girl Medusa saying she was going to give the women's championship back that night at the Hall of Fame.
Mm.
Vince McMahon told her to keep it. Then Most Wanted Treasures goes after it, Mick Foley, and she wants 100 grand for them either to borrow it or to buy it. Either
Wow.
way.
Wow.
Yeah. What's your reaction to that? Because Booker T just said she can go to wherever. And that shocked me, his reaction
I
to that,
say,
and they
I
left
say,
it in.
I say, cha-ching, man. I mean, like, if someone's going to spend 100K to buy it,
But
okay.
they're not doing it. They're not going to buy it, or they're not going to borrow it. But my question is, where do you think that belt belongs? In her safe or in the WWE Hall of Fame?
I think it belongs to her because she won it. I mean, like it was, you know, I've seen many interviews from Medusa over the years of saying, okay, yeah, she was in the moment, the money was good, switching over to WCW,
And dropping
and,
it in the garbage
and
can.
dropping in the garbage can was a part of the deal to cause the intrigue, to cause the suspense, to cause the edginess. You know what I mean? Because that's WCW was shifting over that the where the big boys play. That was their big,
Yeah.
you know, their mantra at the time. So they were shifting over to the more of the edgy type of feel too. So that was just a part of the deal. And you know, she's talked about before that, you know, if she had her way again, she wouldn't do it. But it was just a part of it was just a part of the scene at the time. Just
Yeah,
the
but she's willing to sell it or let them borrow it for the same amount of money for $100,000.
Hmm. Well,
Yeah.
having WWE, so she wants WWE to buy it from her for 100K.
Yeah, and they said no. They're not
Yeah,
going to do it.
I mean, I would turn that down too. I mean,
Yeah,
like
they're not going to.
I wouldn't spend 100.
They're not going to do it.
I would just make a replica of the belt that I own. I mean, WWE just they have the belt, so they can just make another version of the same belt.
Yeah,
There,
yeah.
I mean,
But everybody knows Medusa has it. I just wanted to know what you're
yeah,
feeling.
yeah, yeah, sure, absolutely,
Because usually they get what they go after.
sure, but not with Deuce, not with Deuce.
No, no. Maybe we can get her on the show in a few weeks and
Yeah,
talk to her about
yeah,
it.
that would be interesting. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I would be game for that for sure. All right, let's pick over here. Of course, like I said, Super Chat gets first precedent and a guaranteed and on the screen. Otherwise, we'll peek over here for the next 12 minutes and see what we can talk about here.
Yeah.
Let's see. Thoughts on Sting bump on Dynamite. Really scary, but glad he is okay. What do
Oh my God. I texted him after that show went off the air
Mhm.
and I said, "You're nuts." And he sent me a smiley face like 2 days later. I don't know what he's trying to prove. I mean, it's obvious he can hang with a lot of the younger guys, but I thought he was going to get really, really hurt. When he got up on that ladder, I had a feeling I knew what he was going to do. And I was sitting on the recliner going, don't do it. What did you think?
I think it was, you know, Sting's my all-time favorite wrestler, man, but I wasn't a fan of that. I think at this point, Bill, you know, he's like, you know, I probably got about a good less than a year left in me. And
Mhm.
it just feels that this is a part of his swan song. He's like, I don't want to leave any stone unturned. I don't want to be, you know, he's what 64 now. And
Something like
so
that.
yeah, I think he was born in March of 59. So, you know, 64 years old. He's like, I don't want to be 65 coming back to the business and saying, man, I wish I would have done that. Like, I think it's one of two things. I think one that he's like, okay, I really want to. It's kind of like a post midlife crisis type of feel.
Oh,
You know
okay.
what I mean?
Okay.
And because you know I'm a psychologist, so I think about it from that standpoint. So I'm
Sure.
kind of getting those vibes. I'm also I'm getting probably the most that he really, really wants to put over Darby Allin. And so,
Absolutely.
that's like his thing. Like he feels like his contribution to AEW is by the time he completely hangs it up, he wants Darby Allin to be world champion caliber. And whatever
Hmm.
he needs to do to help with that, he will. And if that is the case, which I think it is, at least majority the case, other than the fact that he just wants to scratch whatever itch that he has left in his wrestling
Very
career.
well said.
You know what I mean? And so I think for him, he just wants to get Darby over. And I wouldn't be opposed to them winning the tag team championships like at All In or All Out.
You
Or
know, that didn't put Darby over. That put Sting over as like, what the heck is this crazy person doing?
Yeah, I think ultimately, because here's the thing, it did give the match the more eyes on it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I think ultimately that's what's. And here's the thing, I thought about a couple scenarios, and I hope that this doesn't happen. I hope that's. I wouldn't be surprised if they did this, but I can see them turning Darby heel and giving Sting his only loss, you know, in AEW because he's undefeated in AEW, which as a Sting fan I'm totally fine with.
Yeah.
But I think that's his only loss before he retires probably would be Darby Allin.
I
So
don't know. I
if
don't
they do
know.
a babyface versus babyface, I'll be more cool with that. But Darby is a heel. I think he's just too small.
Well, you know, Darby could say, "I saw you do that thing off the ladder, and you shouldn't have done that. What's wrong with you? What you know, you're my mentor and all that." Well, what did fine? You know, you don't like this? No, I didn't like this. Maybe I need to teach you a lesson.
Mm, there you
Oh,
go. There you
oh,
go.
okay, good
Yeah,
question.
yeah. I think ultimately Sting is going to put Darby over in a match in a
Sure.
one match. So before he retires. Let's see here. We got Happy Independence Day, Mr. Apter and Dr. Featherstone. Which
Thank you.
wrestler from back in the day do you think had the most patriotic character? Very
Oh,
nice.
Sergeant Slaughter. No,
Yes, I
no
agree.
question in my mind.
Yeah, I agree.
At ease, maggot.
Indeed, indeed. What about Colonel De Beers?
Well, he wasn't patriotic. Come on now, Colonel De Beers. Great bad guy, but no, no.
What else we got? We got of course Kurt Angle, but not he wasn't necessarily back in the day. We got Del Wilkes.
Yeah,
Uh,
the Patriot, and Tom Brandy was a
Tom
Patriot
Brandy, yes,
too.
indeed, yes,
Yeah,
indeed. I just chatted with Tom Brandy text earlier this year. Who else were
Tom
patrons?
Brandy lives about 10 miles from me.
Oh, does he really?
Yeah,
Very nice, very
yeah,
nice. Um, I know that there was. I was cool with Del Wilkes before he passed, and
yeah.
I know
Good
that there
guy.
was controversy between the Patriot character with him and Tom Brandy. So, but it all.
Well, Lacey Evans, of course, too. You know.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
back in the day. Nor I mean, she's
No, no.
legit patriotic, but not.
Right. No,
But
back in
they,
the day, I'm trying to think when I was growing up, who the patriotic people were. You know, back in the days of.
oh, well, Hulk Hogan was a
Well,
patriotic.
yeah, he was a real American.
He was.
Yeah.
So was Jim Duggan.
Yes, Hacksaw was. Oh, you know what? He and Sarge kind of on equal ground with the patriotism
I
there.
agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
yeah. I didn't think of him. Very
Yeah,
good point out.
yeah. I think Duggan's really up there too.
Oh,
Yes, I was a huge Duggan fan back in the day, man. I think he is. I wish the WWE at least would have given him the Intercontinental Championship.
yeah, I agree.
It's
I agree.
crazy that in this. I know that he was big in Mid South, in UWF, but it's crazy that the two big companies, WWE and WCW, out of both of those, he only had one United States Championship run in WCW.
Yeah,
Out of
yeah,
all that, so yeah,
yeah,
I wish they
yeah.
would have put the Intercontinental Championship on him at least. So.
Yep, I
Uh,
totally agree.
let's see here. We got. Do you think having Roman Reigns pinned at Money in the Bank was the right choice, Bill?
Um, I had a feeling that was going to happen. That one of the Usos was going to pin him. I think I said that on our show last week when we were talking about some of this thing. And now they've signed Roman against Jay for SummerSlam, so they knew where they were going with this coming Friday night on SmackDown. They're going to have a trial of Roman Reigns. I can't wait to see. I did an exclusive interview that will be on hopefully next week with Rikishi,
Nice.
the daddy of Solo, Jay and Jimmy Uso. And we talked about the whole bloodline thing. So I can't reveal the whole thing here, but I asked Rikishi, do you think Daddy Rikishi is going to have to come in and nullify the situation? And he whispered something in my ear that he told me I cannot mention to anyone or I will get a stink face.
It's classified, man. It's classified.
Yeah, so we got to watch out for that interview only here on Wrestle Binge.
Indeed. Should be fun to watch. Do I think pinning him was the right choice? Yes, I do. I think it was. I mean, it comes with controversy. A lot of people don't think that he should have been pinned. People think that he should have been pinned by someone who dethrones him, which is a fair point. But at the same time, here's my pushback with that. My pushback is he's going to be pinned regardless. And I think if you make it make sense to extend the storyline, if him getting pinned is an extension of the storyline, I'm all for it. Because
I agree.
Because Jey Uso pinning him makes sense because the bloodline angle started with Roman and Jey.
Yes.
So him pinning Roman is full circle. You know what I mean? And so it makes sense to me, and I'm fine with it. Totally.
But keep in mind that there was a lot that led to that pin. It wasn't just a clean pin. There was a lot of outside stuff. There were both Usos involved.
Exactly.
There's a lot going on there.
Exactly. And I actually had the conversation on another show about that it wasn't a 1-on-1 match.
No.
It was a bunch of super kicks from both Usos, you know what I mean? So it was a lot going on there.
Hold on a minute.
Go.
Hold on a minute.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, nice.
He's there.
He's there.
He's guarding Maya's Wrestling Fixed mug.
Very nice. He's
that is his head of the cup here.
Yes, he is the he is the head of the cup at the head of the table.
Yes.
All right, here we go. We got one super chat, so Rollin takes precedence. Here we go. $4.99 super chat. All right, we're going to answer these two questions, and unless we get any more super chats, man, we're going to close it up here. One was what is the best looking version of the WWE Women's title belt of all time?
Oh, I can't think of them all. So,
I mean, the one that's I like the black one, like around like when Jackie and Sable and all of them had the black with the black belt. I like that one. Otherwise, I mean, like there was a bunch of them that was just super tiny.
Well, I like the Medusa one that's in her safe currently.
Yeah, that one's nice too. Yeah, those two are good. Number two, in what era was the WWE Women's Championship its most prestigious? That's a good question.
Yeah, that would be that whole era with Trish and Lita and all that whole group of girls.
You wouldn't consider the Moolah era?
No, there was no cable, there was no internet, not enough people saw that. June Byers had a version of the World Championship, but this is WWE. No, I think around the time when things were changing, when the women started getting like really more athletic in that Lita and Trish era, I think that's most prestigious. And then Stephanie came in and presented a new belt and everything. So that's where that steamrolled to me.
Nice. Yeah, I actually may consider like rock and wrestling era, like Moolah, Wendy Richter, Rock and Robin, Sherry Martel, like that era, like in the late 80s. I think that because to me, I'm thinking like that had a lot of prominence and is still really that was really impactful towards the trajectory of transcending the business.
Absolutely.
like Cyndi Lauper and Wendy Richter teaming together. Like collabing together with Lou Albano.
Yeah.
That was it. I mean, other than Hogan there, Rock and Wrestling Era was that. So
Yeah, but it was focused more on rock and wrestling. When Trish and Lita came in my opinion, that's when the belt started to really pick up and mean something to me.
sure, yeah, I think it did for a hiccup though because it was for a few years it became something, and then they started to make it like very diva esque. You know what I mean? A lot of
Yeah,
stipulation matches, like
but there were eyes on it.
yeah. I think when they started to make like when they changed to the Divas Championship and try to do that era, I wasn't a really big fan of the Divas Championship. Uh, but Lita is my all-time favorite, women's wrestler. So you got my vote on that as far as
Yeah.
Trish and Lita for sure.
And when Charlotte Flair held the belt so many times, the prestige of her having that championship and just looking like that champion is so good.
Yeah. Why, in your opinion, before we exit, why do you think that WWE actually spends time booking Charlotte as a babyface? She's just a natural heel. Why do you think they keep bringing her as babyface?
I don't know if they're looking to bring her in as a baby face. I think it's an old situation where it's just the opponents who she can work best against. And if it happens to be a heel, it's a heel.
Hmm.
I have a question for you.
Yeah, sure.
Why not LA Knight?
I think he's the people's choice, but the people's choice isn't always the right business decision. And I think that, people are saying that Triple H is talking. I mean, you and I both have done a bunch of media events with media calls, and they tend to sidestep answers. And it takes tough journalists and good journalists to press a little bit more. But I don't think Triple H necessarily sidestepped this one. You know what I mean? Because he did talk about good things come, to those who wait. And I actually agree with that. I actually agree that it's worth the wait. It's a really good tester to see if the fans really are willing to be patient in the process of slowly building LA Knight, because technically he's still a rule breaker back in your days, the magazine days.
Yeah.
He's still a heel, so we need to have some time. Give us some time, because at the end of the day, if he's getting cheered as a heel, I cannot stand when heels get cheered, because it takes away so much of the babyface. When he was going against Montez Ford, Montez was getting booed. Very counterproductive. When he was going against Santos Escobar, Santos was getting booed. Very counterproductive. When he was going against Rey Mysterio was getting booed. Very counterproductive. So I think at this point, have some time, be patient with the process, let him turn fully babyface, and then we can start talking about championship, discussions at that time. So
You noticed on Monday Night Raw, since we're live the night after that he wasn't even mentioned.
He wasn't.
No, nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. I mean, not at all. So I don't know what the slap in the face is. I was waiting for Damian Priest. I was waiting for Dominic somehow to get the belt last night in some sort of really weird way, and then Damian cashes in on Dominic, beats Dominic, becomes champion, and then LA Knight is his first challenger.
Interesting. I actually I think they should do LA Knights versus Austin Theory at SummerSlam.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that's
great.
The way
that would be great.
Yeah. I think that's the way to turn babyface. Yeah. I think that's the way to turn him babyface. I think that's him in Theory. They have very they have similar personalities as far as like the jock feel, the the good looking, clean cut type of feel to him. And so I think that LA Knights, against this snot nose, bratty kid, Austin Theory, going back and forth on the stick with him. I think that would, and Austin Theory he's a bona fide heel. He's that's what I do appreciate that about Austin Theory. People don't like Austin Theory, and that serves the purpose. I mean, he's a heel. People shouldn't like him, and so I think that going against LA Knight would be really, really good for him. And I think giving him, the U.S. Championship as a babyface at SummerSlam would be a good spot.
All right, last question, because I know we're running a little overtime here, but Kevin Nash came out and said that LA Knight, all he's doing is kind of ripping off The Rock. What do you think?
So, I mean, like,
right, that's what I thought.
Hogan ripped off Billy Graham. I mean, Steiner ripped off Billy Graham, his heel character. You know what I mean? Like, that happens. Flair ripped off Buddy Rogers. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that happens all the time. I
just wondered what you thought, because I had the same reaction you did.
Yeah, I mean, rip-offs happen all the time. I mean, credit. If Hulk Hogan didn't rip off Billy Graham, he wouldn't be Hulk Hogan. So,
are your Austin Idol? He told me was the first guy.
Oh, well, there you go. Austin Idol too. Yeah, absolutely.
So, are you getting packed for SummerSlam yet?
Not yet, but I'll be ready to rock here soon. You and I will be doing media live there, and I'm looking forward to
meeting the fans. It's just going to be a great time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, we got one more question before we get out of here. Rollins, 499. Did you guys notice if there was a 4th of July Raw video package last night? I didn't see a WWE Raw video package for Juneteenth nor Independence Day. Yeah, I didn't see one for Independence Day either.
I didn't either. Well, they usually run something, but
they do. I didn't see one though. I wish they would start running them from Juneteenth. I would.
Yeah, sure.
Good stuff. Bill, let them know about your endeavors and where to find you, and you got some big stuff for Sportskeeda, the Russell Benz.
I've got interviews coming up, more in the chapters with Natalia, who redeemed herself finally against Rhea Ripley. Nice. I was so glad to see that.
Yeah, it was
got interviews coming up with Rikishi, Lance Archer from AEW, and so many others. You can find me at Apter One Wrestling on Wrestle Binge. And subscribe to Wrestle Binge.
Yes.
Sportskeeda Wrestle Binge, because a lot of you are saying, hey, do you still have your One Wrestling video channel? I do, but I don't post a lot on there. Mm-hmm. You can mainly find me on Wrestle Binge.
Nice.
So quite a lot. And here on UnSKripted every single Tuesday night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Indeed. If you will, baby. This guy right here is Bill Apter. I'm Dr. Chris. I'm heading over to Pancakes and Power Slams to take some live questions from people like Rollins. Rollins, a weekly follower.
Thank you, Rollins, for sending in some great questions.
Indeed. He every week, man. This guy's a super awesome follower of Sportskeeda and my endeavors as well. Bill Apter, Dr. Chris. This is UnSKripted by Sportskeeda Wrestling. Follow Wrestle Binge. Follow at Apter One Chat. Follow at Chris Prolific. Have a good night. I'll see you at the matches.
Yes. He stole my finish. Call the booker.